guys, this is Sasith, also known as IYRE, and you're watching Curtain Call on Hi TV. So I started making music in 2012. I had a musical background before. I was musically active in school, have studied professionally as well, but when it comes to productions, I started making music in 2012. With electronic music coming into the limelight with the introduction of Skrillex into the scene, and I was particularly interested in genres like dubstep. After I heard a collaboration that he did with a band called iCLOWN, which is known as Get Up, and after I heard that track, I was immediately inspired and I started making electronic music. Got my hands on with FL Studio, which is the DAW that I use to this day, and basically started researching myself. Went on YouTube, watched thousands of tutorials and started making dubstep in 2012. And towards 2014, if I'm not mistaken, I heard Pendulum for the first time, which is a drum and bass band, which is a popular drum and bass band, and a song called Witchcraft comes into my mind in particular. And once I heard that song, I was immediately inspired and again tried out my hands on drum and bass. And ever since then, my prime genre has been drum and bass, and ever since then I've been producing drum and bass. And in 2019, 2020, after the pandemic hit, I decided to start a new alias, just so that I can completely cater to drum and bass by using that alias. And right now I'm fully functional, I would say, in terms of the new alias, and I use the previous alias, which is known as iCLOWN, to cater to a local audience. The first song that I produced was an original, which was aired on Criminal Records on TNL radio. So that's basically how I got introduced to the scene, basically through Chase and Maria, who used to work at TNL. Later on, I got in touch with a few labels overseas, which were run by a few of my friends back then, whom I met through the internet. And the dubstep songs that I was producing by that time were featured on EDM.com, which was a huge achievement to Sri Lanka by then, because EDM.com used to be the premier network for bass music at that time. It was very famous, and it was considered an achievement when your music was being featured on EDM.com. So that's basically my first breakthrough. I had around 2 to 3 songs that were featured on EDM.com in terms of dubstep. And towards 2014-15, if I'm not mistaken, I met Ranidhu Iyer. So he was gracious enough for me to remix one of his songs, which was called Vahiyantu. So I was able to remix that song. I did a drum step remix for that song, and the remix became very popular, contrary to what I believed at that time, because genres like drum and bass, dubstep, drum step are relatively new to Sri Lanka, and the sound is very new to the ears of the listeners as well. So I was very happy to see that a drum and bass or a drum step song in particular being popular at that time. And Ranidhu has been a very close mentor as well, and he was very supportive since the beginning, and later the same song was played on BBC Asian Network as well. And immediately after that remix, I came in touch with Drill Team, incidentally, and and started working with them as well, and we did a huge project called the Cypher, the last Cypher that they released in 2014-15, which had around 11 to 12 featured artists at the time. So basically, with the collaboration that I did with Drill Team, I was exposed to another set of audience, which was basically the Sinhala rap community. I was fortunate enough to work with quite a few artists in the local scene as well. Notably, the last project that I did was a collaboration between Ravi and Costa. As a result, we were able to create a very unique music piece and a music video, which was called Hi.lk. And Ravi got connected as well with a rap, and basically we were able to create the first ever motion captured video. The specifics of this video is that it's 360 as well, so it's not just motion capture, it's a 360 production as well. We got the support from Weg and Prodigy Interactive. So Prodigy did the motion capturing and Wave did the production aspects of the music video, and it's a very unique project. I think it has racked around 600,000 views so far. I'm pretty proud of that one as well, because we were able to create a bit of history to the local music scene. Another project that I was fortunate enough to work was Dialog Ch with Ravi. I think it's supposed to be one of my most proud collaborations, I would say. It's a very unique vibe as well. It's a 6/8 vibe. We were basically trying to emulate the baila music, a slowed version of baila, so that people are encouraged to dance. So that was kind of the ideology behind the musical aspect, and Ravi was able to give it a very nice spin of how he left his job basically. It's a reimagined story, but something that most of the people could relate. And the track was very famous, and I think it reached 1 million views on YouTube very recently. Another track that I did quite recently towards 2020 was Light, which was basically a collaboration between me, Fallon and Balamandala. You give me hope. So I ran into Balamandala online. So he had put out one of his originals out, and I thought it was brilliant in terms of the production, in terms of the vocals, very unique. Never seen something like that before in Sri Lanka, so I immediately got in touch with him. We cultivated a friendship and basically started sharing music, started sharing ideas, and we connected as human beings instead of like musicians first, so that basically we can understand what kind of a creative place that we are in terms of artists. So that is basically how we got connected, and we basically started this track called Light. I sent him an instrumental, and then he put a bit of his vocals, and then he suggested that maybe we could bring a female vocalist as a backing for the track as well. So that's how basically I got in touch with Fallon, whom I've known since ages. Since she did her first track itself, I've known her. So we had a close relationship. We have a close relationship as well. So I immediately got in touch with her and got her to sing the female parts, the female vocals. So that's how basically Light came into picture.
We're more than skin and bones, more than animals with a soul.
Another project that I was able to work with was Sasith IYRE, another very proud song, a very proud achievement, I would say.
Rahat himiwarun udin vadinawa veepadurata ev nella vatenawa sirimahabo pat budu banaliyevi paviyanawa lausulange
I think Charith and me started talking as well. Very organical again, the relationship. Basically we were fans of each other by that time, so he got in touch and he had a melody, and basically so we got into the studio and we started making the song. I contributed in terms of my technical know-how with the drum and bass genre, and I helped him a little bit with the arrangements and the melody as well. Dhyan was the guy who sang the song, and then Ravi did a rap, and we had a brilliant music video thanks to Randy. I think the video speaks for itself in terms of what Randy does as an artist. So pretty proud of that one as well, and we can watch it.
Budun daka niwan dakinna me sasarin daka pamaning yaneke seda niwan senekin separap dengan bintang tehari magana desuwe bana ape sadu niwan durani sada mama later ende.
I'm working on my album at the moment for iCLOWN, my previous alias. I want to do that so that I've at least released one album with that alias, so I'm hoping to finish that album. And I was able to work very closely with Costa. I co-produced and mixed one of his albums, which was Hi.lk Disco. Was the name of the album, so basically I was able to co-produce and mix the entire album for him. And on Hi.lk 3 I produced an album intro for him, and we also got to get to collaborate on my album, and obviously working on new music for him as well. And I'm working as his DJ as well right now. We were able to perform at a few venues when he came down to so we have an ongoing relationship alongside KK, who is another rapper that Costa works collaboratively, and of course he's one of my good friends as well. So we three get together whenever Costa comes down, so we get together and perform basically. So that is of course into the future as well. We will be performing, and the album and a few collaborations which are inside the album, featuring guys like Master D, Ravi, Manasik from Drill Team, Minol from Drill Team, and Dr. B is King from Wave Park Music. Who else? Some of the names that come on top of my mind. Sunny is another guy, 007. Hopefully there's like a few names I may have missed, but basically the top guys who are running the rap scene are involved in the album, so I'm pretty proud of the juncture that the album has reached so far. But I'm taking my time so that I can basically put out the songs in the way that I was imagining them to be released. So basically would take another, I don't know, at least a year, I would say. So that's in the works as well. So that's basically what I have going on right now with the local ladies. So in 2020, right after the pandemic hit, I created a new alias just to cater to drum and bass music. I think it came into the limelight because I was always a drum and bass producer first, even though I was able to collaborate with so many local artists, so many rap artists. I was always a drum and bass producer. So I look back at the journey and I felt as if I'm not in the right place, not in the place that I wanted to be. So decided to create a new alias, came up with this alias called IYRE, IYRE. You can check it on social media. And reworked on my image, reworked on branding, and reworked on the music as well. I used to make a subgenre called neuro at the time, so I just wanted to re-strategize and refocus myself into a different subgenre. So right now, I think instead of neuro, I'm into the mellow stuff, the liquid, deep, and the techie aspects of drum and bass. So I think. With the switch, I was able to cater myself into the audience that I always wanted to make music for. I got signed to a few labels from the UK and Netherlands. My first release was with Gold Fat Records, which was called Fragments. I think it was a monumental achievement, I would say, because the track got featured on UKF, which is the biggest platform for bass music right now in the world. The track got featured on UKF Drum and Bass again, so I was pretty blown away because that was not something that I had in mind. I had given myself some time for me to get to that stage, but got featured on UKF, so it was very special because it's the first time that someone from Sri Lanka or South Asia, for that matter, was featured on UKF. So I consider that a very special achievement. And started releasing music with a Netherlands-based label called Focus, which is considered like as the biggest liquid drum and bass label at the moment. So Focus and the sister label Celsius. And later, with my introduction to UKF, I was fortunate enough to release music with Pilot, which is the label that is curated by UKF. So released music with Pilot, and one of the songs got premiered on Liquidity, which is another huge network for drum and bass in Netherlands, based in Netherlands. And later, towards 2021, I got nominated for a Drum and Bass Arena Award for the Best Newcomer in the category of Best Newcomer. I think that was the first time that someone from South Asian descent got nominated for an award for Drum and Bass Arena, in Drum and Bass Arena. And later, I was again featured on Mixmag Asia, and I think I was played once on BBC Radio 1 as well. I think it should technically be the first time that a Sri Lankan got played on BBC Radio 1. Later, towards 2022, in the beginning, I was able to perform for UK Future Vision, which is an online mini festival that UKF organizes each year, focused on upcoming stars from the bass music scene. So I was able to feature myself as an upcoming bass artist from the region, which again is the first time for South Asia and Sri Lanka. Through the whole relationship that I had with the label owners of Gold Fat, who's called Might Kiss, and Might Kiss is currently signed to the biggest label on planet Earth for drum and bass called Hospital. So with that relationship, I was introduced to the Hospital ecosystem, and I got signed to the publishing arm of hospital called Songs in the Key of Knife. My signing was announced about 3 weeks back. So with that, I got exposed to the hospital ecosystem, and hopefully I get to release music with hospital and the sister label Solvent in the future. And with the publishing aspects, I would be able to pitch my music to movies, TV series, games in particular. So hopeful, fingers crossed, hopeful to what comes next with iYRE, which is kind of like the main focus right now. And iCLOWN is probably on the lay low side of things, but hopefully I'm trying to see if I can maybe play out a few gigs in Europe and UK. So it's in the works, so we'll see how it goes. Just want to thank everybody who has supported, basically from the labels, Goldfat, my teaching supporter, and the Fat Fam, the entire ecosystem that revolves around the label, and of course the labels that I work with in the Netherlands, Celsius and Focus, and of course Pilot and UK. So those guys have been supporting ever since I started, and I'm very, very thankful for the opportunities that have come my way, and hopeful towards the future as well. Let's see where we land after this year. So you can basically follow me anywhere on social media. If you look for iCLOWN and iYRE, you're going to run into me. I'm very active on Instagram, so you can always drop me a message. We connect on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook as well, obviously. There's YouTube links as well, which will be pasted below. So there's a few tutorials on my iYRE YouTube channel as well. If anybody is interested in having a hindsight in terms of my creative process and the way that I approach to production, you can basically go into iYRE YouTube and have a look at the track breakdowns that I've done. නිර්වාණේ අවබෝධේ උන්නේ ඒ නිසයි ලොක්කට දෙන උන්ට අත්ත යටින් හම්බේ බෝනස් මගේ ක්‍රියේටිව් හින වෙලා කිව්වා උඹ කාපන් දැන් පස් රැප් හනදාගෙන වැඩබන් අපිට කොයිද ඕඩි යන ලොක්කාගේ කාමර වෙලා කෝඩිනේටර් නෝඩි කෙරුවා නම් තමන්ගේ වැඩ හෙව්වා නම් තමන්ගේ ඇද බට කොටවන යාළුවෝ අපි එක මේසේ කන්නේ බඩු මීල වැඩි වේ පණිතාම අඩුනේ කුසියේ දුක මැද්දේ අම්මගේ හිනාව වේලිට වලනසෙන් හෙට නැති වෙවි ඩිග්‍රීලා